Hello again and welcome to my hobby table and engine talk episode number 43. This one is titled Recent Refurbishments because what I've got on the table to show and ask some questions about for you viewers and subscribers is the four engines that I've had. Not all of them have been sitting around for a while, but some have been sitting around for a while. And I don't want to say I finally got caught up on these, because to say you got caught up on something is to imply that you were ever behind. And since I set my own schedule in life and all that I do, I can't really say that I'm ever behind on anything, because if I set the schedule, how can I be behind? But anyway, so the first one I'm going to just briefly talk about is this OSFS 90 engine. And this is one that was a first run disaster, and where I had not torqued the screw that holds that timing wheel in place enough, and it came loose and connected the connecting rod, or hit the connecting rod. And a buddy of mine, Harvey, was so kind as to have a spare connecting rod, and he sent it to me, and now I've got this engine all put back together and ready to run once again. And I made sure I didn't use Loctite, I didn't use a compression washer or a lock washer, I just used torque, and quite a bit of it. So this engine is now ready to go again. The valves are set. It's got really, really good compression. And I anticipate this running quite well. The next engine that has been kind of sitting around for a while, these are the two on this side that have been sitting around for a while, this is an Enya 19X that, boy, I don't know how long it's been since I took this thing apart. It's been several weeks. One of the things I was waiting on for this was a new gasket to be made here for this cylinder head to crankcase joint. And I had sent off some information to Rich at ICBIM Products, and it just wasn't really good enough. The technique I used to draw or I made a copy of it and then put measurements on a piece of paper just wasn't good enough for him to replicate it. So I ended up having to send him my old gasket that just had the corner torn out, and I just taped it together, and he reproduced that. And a buddy of mine, Jeremy, actually paid for that, and I thank you, Jeremy, for that. He was actually the one that provided this engine to me also. So this engine is ready to roll again. Now I do have a screw, Jeremy, that I found. It would appear to be like a super tiger screw, and it's just has enough threads to catch that. So I'm hoping it holds. It feels secure, so we'll just have to wait and see. So this engine is ready to run also, and you know, it's been a long time since I've run any kind of small Enya. On this side of the table, I've got this guy, which is a recently refurbished Fox 25BB. In fact, I just did this just a couple of days ago. I did not shoot a disassembly video of it. I just went straight to a Boca bearing installation and removal and installation video. This thing is cleaned up and all ready to go. It was a used engine, but it's in fantastic shape. I mean, it's beautiful now. Yeah, it's got really good compression. So this thing is not compressed on there, and I don't know that it'll ever stay on there, so I had to actually run that nut all the way down to turn that over. So this is a really nice engine. The only thing that I'm having an issue with is these tilt down mufflers. I'm not a big fan of Fox and their tilt down mufflers. I prefer to have a tilt up muffler for this because of this. And when I'm trying to run an engine on a stand and try to adjust that low speed needle, it's like, what do? Try to wrap my hands around a really hot exhaust? Because it's big enough that you can just sit here and grab it. I'm gonna have to do the best I can to set this thing up beforehand. But the other thing is, it's got a slot in there, and I mean, yeah, I could try to do that, but the sight line for that slot isn't all that good either, because the exhaust is in the way. So that's kind of a drawback to these tilt down exhausts, but I think this will be a fine running engine. So we've got a 25, we've got a 19, and just look at these two. Explain that to me. Riddle me that. The Enya is a much beefier looking engine, and it's a 19. In fact, it's so beefy, the piston is really tiny on it. It's really small. But I mean, it's just a beefier looking engine than the 25, and I didn't compare the two pistons to each other, but this one has the same style construction where you've got the head, the button, and then this sleeve is all comes apart and is connected with these long screws. Now, I was fortunate with this engine, even though it was a used engine, it had some good runtime on it, that I didn't damage that gasket or this rear cover gasket when I disassembled it. So I didn't have to call for Rich to assist me in making new gaskets. So I got really fortunate there. The final engine is an engine that's just recently acquired. I did videos on it today, this day, that haven't even been edited or published or anything yet. One's a Boca video, and I did a disassembly video. Whether I post the disassembly video of this or not, I don't know. This is a Brat 28 engine. I was just super excited about this engine. And if you watched when I first showed this engine, and maybe I will have to post that disassembly video just so you can see how discolored or dirty this thing was, because it looks like a brand new engine now. This thing is just absolutely spectacular. Super excited about getting this one on the stand. This one has just, it's an AAC construction. I don't want to keep rotating this over. It doesn't have a plug in it, but it's got really strong compression. It was a lightly used engine. The piston wasn't even really dark at all. So this one should be a good one to run also. So the question for the viewers and subscribers is, next week is another week of, well, next week the weather here is going to be incredibly hot. It's going to be in the 90s all week. But it's also a week, because this week I haven't done any engine runs. This is Thursday. I think all the engine runs, I haven't even posted the last, I haven't edited and posted the 4th engine run that I did on, I think I did those on Monday, or was it last week? I don't know when it was exactly. It was Father's Day, the 21st. So I did 4 videos that day, and I haven't even posted the 4th video, edited or posted the 4th video from that day yet. But next week I'm looking at engines to run. And I can usually do 2 to maybe 3 engines in a day. And I'll usually only have 1 day of the week to do these. So if these were the choices, which ones would be most interesting to see me run again or for the first time? These 3 would be first time. This would be again. And so pick 2. Select 2 of these videos. Just throw them in the comments, and I'll see, you know, I don't really care. It's been a long time since I've run smaller size engines like these, a 19, 25, and a 28. So if you, obviously one of these, all of them, who knows, will be selected. Also let me know, give me some opinions on what props I should use for these engines, because honestly I just don't run small engines enough to know what size prop, and the only thing I can usually go by is if I can find a review article, I'll just look at the review article and see all the different props they listed, and I'll say, oh, I want to run it at this RPM, and then I'll find and see if I have that prop. And that's how I select a prop. That's really all I do to select a prop when I'm running engines, is I'll just, if it comes from a review article and I haven't done an engine like that in a while or a long time or ever, I'll say, I want to run this RPM. So what does that match up with the prop? Do I have that prop? Yes, no. If I don't have that prop, then what's the next prop on the list that I have, and what's the RPM? And that's kind of how I go about selecting props for my engine runs for the most part. So anyway, that's our quick and dirty engine talk episode, and my latest refurbished engines. I still have a couple disassembled. I don't know when I'm going to get to those, but at least I got these done, and I'm really feeling good about that.